I'm just gonna keep pursuing his matchlock units, and I'll just keep using my Yari Ashigaru to then pursue his general and his Great Guard. And any damage I can cause to this Great Guard is very worth it, because that's a very expensive unit. And see, look, they keep getting caught up with my men in melee, and I've taken them down a great deal. And that's also going to leave these matchlock Ashigaru exposed, so I'm going to go ahead and charge them before they can really fire off volleys. And see, his general can't really do anything about this, so he's going to lose this matchlock unit here as well. And he can't really hammer an anvil with Great Guard because I have a spear unit and I can just turn and face. So my opponent's going to lose his matchlock, and look, his general's getting caught in there. So I'm going to try and attack his general. I don't know how this katana unit ended up coming down here. Yeah, see my Yari Ashigaru running away. He's got one of the generals that is the he's got one of the generals that's the melee general. But still, and he's probably got the ignore spears thing on, and he's got bonsai as well. But I'll try and cause all the damage that I can right here. You never know when you'll get lucky and get the kind of kill that you want. But I'm not going to commit way too much infantry to this fight. I mean, he does have his general separated. Yeah, but see, I don't want these katana involved in that fight. I'm going to run these katana out. And see, my opponent lost a Great Guard there in his matchlock Ashigaru. So he lost a little bit of his harassment force and a little bit of his mobility. Though, granted, I ended up losing a ton of my spears, which I kind of need to protect my general. So it was a bit of a risky game. But I guess I'm alright with the results. In fact, I'm probably going to have to stop recording because it's going to get really long. A lot of my opponents are this way, where they absolutely refuse to attack, even when they have the attacking army. You don't bring a bunch of arrows like this and then sit back and play defensively. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean to my opponent, especially as a viewer. I don't mean this, but that's really kind of contradictory in my opinion. When you bring this many missiles, you need to attack, or else you've really kind of nullified the usefulness of the missiles. Guess I'm not going to quit recording, actually. I'm going to pull my forces back to where his archers can't really hit me. My opponent may have the archer advantage, but I can always use the terrain to try and drag him to where I want him. That's precisely what I'll do here. Since he has the missiles, I won't be giving away any free shots. And he's going to be feeling pretty comfortable. It's funny because he's on loose formation still, too. That makes it harder to skirmish and everything else. He most definitely shouldn't be on loose formation, because being on loose formation is going to just make his volleys a little less accurate. And he's going to probably bring his general down here, or no, he's not bringing his general. I'm just going to back up even more, because I want to draw his whole army forward, and I'm not going to give his archers free shots. Okay, YouTube, I'm splicing this in here. If you're watching this video, what happened was I was recording it live. I'm not sure I don't think you've seen this part already. This is a little while after I stopped recording live. My opponent started to badmouth me a little. He types in, he says, "Really?" Like whenever I started running away, trying to force his archers forward. And I didn't really know what he meant, so I typed, "Really what?" And he said, you're going to lose anyway. He's like, "I don't know why you're running away." And I didn't really say anything to that because, if he thinks I'm going to lose, whatever. I don't really care. And so after a minute or so, I was sitting there, and I'm not sure exactly what part of the battle it was in. I think it was actually just after this part. I don't remember the exact time frame on the typing. But anyway, basically he said, after he said, "You're going to lose anyway," I said, "Well, if I'm going to lose, because I didn't like the smug tone. I said, if I'm going to lose, then why don't you come up here and make me lose already?" And he got ticked off and types in some swearing, basically calls me a little blank, and tells me to come down and fight him like a man. And I love and again, I don't want to turn this video. Just let me start off here because I've already actually recorded the end of this, so it's kind of weird because I recorded the beginning, I recorded the end, and now I'm filling in the center. Sorry, let me get you a better view here. This is his general. He's got one of the melee generals, and you can see that his general has like bonsai and a rally and everything active, so his general can pretty much sit here and take on a whole bunch of my units. But that's fine. I'll just sit here and grind his general down and make it a less useful unit over time. And in any case, you can see him firing at me with his archers and everything. And so I'm going to pull back into these trees to get a little bit of archer cover because my Nodachi samurai are particularly vulnerable to missiles. He's also firing at Patchy here. And I'll show you Patchy's new armor. Here's some of my troops. Just show you what they look like up in the forest. Let me go give you a good look at his infantry, his troops, because I don't think I showed you. He had 2 Great Guard units. He's lost them both now. He has 5 Bo Ashigaru. All of them were veteran, and some of them were very veteran units. Like you can see here, these 2 units have 7 chevrons. His general, of course, is the same rank as mine, rank 9. Let's see, there's his general there in the crazy hat. And he's a melee general, which means that basically they can sit there and fight with almost any of your units, and they don't suffer effects versus spears. He's got, it looks like, it's going to be 4 katana units intermixed with 3 veteran monk units. All of them are veteran, some of them not very much. The most veteran one, though, I think is only 3 chevrons. That's his katana samurai. So anyway, like I said, this guy started harping on me, basically letting me know that I was going to lose. And, you know, I kind of thought I would lose. And so basically after he got like all upset and like all competitive, saying, oh, well, why don't you come down here and fight me like a man, you know, that cracks me up, because I love how if you don't fight exactly the way someone wants you to fight, that you must be fighting like a sissy, or, you know, it just cracks me up. It's kind of a mentality that you see across a lot of video games, and let me preface all this by saying this is not meant as a smear video on my opponent. What it's meant as is I want to show you what you run into sometimes online, and why I don't like it, because I think it drives people away from the game. I mean, if I was an early player in the game and I met some player online who was kind of acting like this, a little bit arrogant and stuff like that, you know, it'd kind of be a way to drive people away from the game. You know, whereas when I'm playing people and they bring what I might consider to be a dumb army or to fight in what I might consider to be a dumb way, I don't say anything to them about it. They can fight however they want. And like I told the guy in the chat, I pretty much said, you know, I bought the game, I paid for it, not you, and I'll play it however the crap I want to play it. And if I want to play it by bringing reckless rush armies, then that's what I'll do. So yeah, sitting here in this forest, and it is minimizing my casualties, but you know, I can't just sit here and take all of his ammunition. And since he invited me to come down and fight him like a man, I'm going to take him up on that offer, because obviously he's not going to come up here and fight me, which is fine. Again, he doesn't have to play that way. But yeah, it just kind of cracks me up. So yeah, anyway, so here's my men charging out of the woods. I'm trying to get my cat out of the way. Of course, he's going to get involved right in the middle of one of my commentaries. So yeah, I'm marching my men right here out of the woods. Let's see. Yep. Alright, sorry. Finally got him out of the way. And what I do is I have him on loose formation, and I've waited for the bonsai ability of my Nodachi samurai to recharge. And I'm going to bonsai them. Right now I'm stealth running my ninjas. They're not going to stay stealth for too long because there's enemy archers up here that are spot them, but I'm going to try and take him to the flank. And I want to throw some ninja bombs in. It doesn't end up working out the way I want. Here I'm chasing off his flanking archers. I'm not going to let him have that flank fire. And then I put my units into tight formation at the last minute. I charge into his men, and my Nodachi charge is actually extremely effective. His katana samurai, look at the numbers on these guys. They're getting eaten alive by depleted units of my men. And here's the problem with archers. If you get rushed by a rush army and you don't pull them back right, like my opponent here was making fun of me like I'm supposed to lose, but he didn't pull his archers back right, and he just sits here and loses all of his archers, so there goes a whole bunch of koku right down the crapper for not doing that. And here in the center, he's let me get really good positioning on some of his better units, which is this sword unit and this naginata unit, and they're already getting chewed up. And check it out, here's Patchy. He's going to come out and he's going to put down the stool that says stand and fight. And when he's on the stool, my men mean business. Of course, the stool never appeared there. You can see he has new armor. Patchy's looking pretty cool. I did get rid of his mystical floating wings and traded it in for that cool, like, spear-looking hat. Yeah, so like I said, my opponent told me I was going to lose. But if you look at the fight here, it really doesn't look like I'm going to lose. In fact, these are his monks dying. This is his general out here on the flank dying. Yeah, there's my Kisho Ninja and one of my sword units. These ninja are not to be underestimated. Their attack is extremely high, and since his cav doesn't get a charge bonus on my ninjas, this is a unit that is actually pretty well suited to taking down a general with multiple hit points, because these ninja have really high attack, and if they are indeed within the radius of Patchy, which I don't think they are, then that stand and fight is just going to make them even stronger. So here goes his general running away because he was going to die there. And now these units are just freed up to run back up the hill and to get involved in this fight that my opponent is now definitely losing. You can see here his troops, these Naginata monks, they're good units. They got nerfed just a little bit in the patch, not a whole lot. They're good units, but even though my units aren't upgraded, I had 11 units of infantry to my opponent's 7. And so you're talking four extra units, so his units would have to be efficient enough. I had 11 units of sword infantry, so I had even more units of that altogether. Yeah, so there goes the rest of his troops breaking. So yeah, my opponent told me I was going to lose, told me I should come fight like a man, so I guess I took him up on the offer. And I'm going to splice in the remainder of the video now, and you'll hear my finishing to it, so hope you enjoyed that footage. Hey there, YouTube. This is actually that same match I was commentating. My opponent actually got a little bit smart-mouthed with me. I had to quit recording because the battle got really long. And you can see right there that he just rage quit because I beat him. I'll save the replay and show you the part of the battle that you missed, but I think this ought to be some interesting fun for you, why you shouldn't trash talk your opponent. So my strategy here actually ended up being successful. Sorry I didn't record the whole thing though, because I didn't think it was going to turn out to be a good battle, but I think it's going to actually end up making a nice lesson. If this is one of my viewers, then, you know, I'm sorry that I'm showing this, because I'm not just trying to be a mean guy, but this is, you know, like when I was playing the game, he's kind of, you know, being a little bit belligerent towards me and being mean, and you really shouldn't just be mean to people, because like I was trying to tell him, I didn't say anything mean back to him, just said, hey, I'm trying to play a game, it's just for fun. And he's like, well, you shouldn't be playing this type of game if you don't want to be competitive, because I was telling him, you know, I just have an army here for fun because I like enjoying the game. And, you know, I told him, you know, hey, I paid for the game, I can play it however I want. And it's funny because I ended up winning the match, even though he was the one being overly competitive, because he completely underestimated me. So yeah, you shouldn't underestimate your enemy. I'm going to go ahead and end the battle here, and I'll show you the results screen. So yeah, I'll actually, you know, when you're talking, when you hear me talking here, I'll actually show you this, and then I'll splice in the battle footage from the replay as to where it fits in the battle, because I'll show you exactly what happened. You know, it was back and forth, and admittedly, it didn't look good for me, but, you know, that's another one of those things where players get overly dependent on certain types of builds, and they think that you know, the standard build that they bring a lot of times is pretty much invincible. And what my opponent had there for his build was a mix of swords and veteran Naginata monks and a bunch of good archers, and then his general was one of the ones that you can just throw into a fight, and pretty much just he'll fight and fight and fight. I don't need to keep this veteran katana unit. I have plenty of veteran katanas, so I'm going to turn that down. So check out the results screen here. I deployed a lot more non-veteran units than my opponent. I deployed quite a few more men than him, about 2 units more. But you can see that I ended up winning the battle because he didn't have as many men to lose. And again, I really don't appreciate my opponent trash-talking me and telling me that my army was going to be useless. It's kind of funny there. I think that goes to show you that, and you saw him rage quit from the game too. It's just really bad manners, and I'm not coming on here to be mean to anybody. I don't want people to go find and belittle this person. If they're watching the video, air doesn't hold anything against you. You know, it's all water under the bridge. It's just I wish people wouldn't behave like this online, you know, and people get mad sometimes. I get mad sometimes when I'm online, but I don't ever rage quit or anything like that, and I just wish people wouldn't do it because it's really not necessary. And like I said, I was just trying to have a good time there, and I don't really understand, you know, why there had to be some kind of trash talking and ragging on me, and, you know, that kind of air of insolence, and ended up being embarrassing for him. And again, I'm not showing this to try and be mean to anybody. I don't have any interest in that. It's just really not up my alley. I just wanted to show you what it started out. You know, I just thought it was a regular battle, but in the end, I'd show you it ends up being kind of typical behavior sometimes of people online. Anyway, let me go splice in some of the replay footage.